Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? This is Queen Aishah, and thank you so much for joining me for another dope episode of I Know Dope People with Queen Aishah. And today, our topic with my panelists, the friends, dating after marriage, relationship conversations. We have the special guest co-host today, Minister Nichelle Color Beauty Johnson. We do everything in excellence and on time. So this 6 minutes late is not on Nichelle. It's on me. I'm aware. And thank you, Nichelle. Thank you, Coach Eboni Caldwell, Michael Prince, everything Michael Prince, Two Bones Barbecue, Dallas, Texas. And my brother, I think we cousins because we got the same family last name, Larry Parrish, looking like Hakuna Matata today. We're going to have a wonderful conversation. It's about mother and son relationships and how it affects the son's relationship in a negative or positive way. So I think that's a great topic. Tune in, men, women, call a friend, call a foe, lock in, send a comment. We ready. But before we get started, we're going to do some Queens quickies. So October 17th is Missy Elliott Day in her hometown of Portsmouth, Virginia. Missy also donated $50,000 to the Portsmouth Redevelopment and Housing Authority, PRHA, to support 26 families that live in the city. Go ahead, Missy. I love me some Missy. And her mom and other loved ones were with her as she received that honor and made that donation. Now, I love me some Keke Wyatt. I just love her spirit. And honey, you know, she can like triple double sing. But did you know she does not watch herself? She doesn't watch her video performances because she doesn't really she doesn't want to see like the mistakes she makes, or it's awkward because even as a performer myself, sometimes it's hard to watch myself. We're extra judgmental on ourselves. But she has a reality show coming to WeTV. It's called Keke Wyatt's World. So, you know, does Keke have like 9 or 10 children? So that's going to be interesting. I have watched her on some of her social media, and I just love her spirit and her honesty and truth. And she's also an executive producer on the show, which she really looks forward to doing because the other reality show she was on with R&B Diva, she didn't think that it always showed her in a great light. Now, you all heard that Jeezy and Jeannie Mai are separated and going through a divorce, and they have a 1-year-old daughter. Well, Jeezy has a book out called Adversity for Sale, and in the book he mentions how for 8 years he was going through depression, and he did not know because he wasn't educated on mental health, depression, anxiety, and all those things, that he had lost so many people close to him. And he just became numb to it. But he gives thanks to his children for helping to keep him balanced. He said that's when he was young Jeezy. He now Jeezy. He grown. So wishing him all the absolute best. And so happy that you are aware and are acknowledging the challenges that you face and were facing with depression. All right. So thank you so much. We're also going to share our affirmation for this week. This is Queen Aishah's inspirational soul food, affirmation and inspiration. There's a lot, but I wanted to give you all of that. And to this week, this is from Julian Michaels. She is a fitness expert. And it says, it's not about perfect. It's not about being perfect. It's about effort. And when you bring that effort every single day, that's where transformation happens. Julian Michaels, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now for our panelists, let's get started because the soldiers is jumping on our eyes. We're going to bring up my girl, my awesome friend, Minister Nichelle Johnson. She is our special guest co-host today. If you watched our panelists, our show segment, I'll call it. If you watched that a few months ago, we had the topic and it came up about mother and son relationships. And I said, let that be our next topic. We need to talk about it. And Nichelle, I would like you to lead us, not in prayer, only in prayer, but in this topic. So Nichelle, coming to the stage. Can we get Nichelle up on the screen? Nichelle,
all right, there we go.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have an awesome topic today. We're going to keep it within our time because we move in excellence. And I see the soldiers on your eyes, and you probably see them on my eyes too. But you're looking very beautiful and bubbly.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And we're going to also bring up Coach Eboni. Eboni, thank you so much for joining us. See, we all go to bed pretty early. So today, for whatever, I think it's the weather, y'all. I think it's the weather.
No, it's the signs of maturity.
Yes,
you go get your sleep so you can stay looking cute.
Right.
You better say that, ma'am.
Okay.
All 7-8 hours.
Okay, because the light ain't always gonna save us.
Yes,
and next we're bringing up Deacon Larry Parrish. Larry looked like he is like wide awake and he got all his sleep today. Thank you, Larry, for your yes. Eboni, thank you for your yes. And we're bringing Mr. Michael Prince. Okay, Michael, you're an hour behind us, right?
Yes, I am.
Everybody's on the East Coast except for Michael. We appreciate you.
So you all going to bed very early this morning.
So we're not gonna hold back. We're gonna get into it because y'all know that. First of all, again, thank you, all of you for your yes. You know, these topics, these segments are so powerful. With all of us giving our input, our insight, our opinions, our encouragement. Our encouragement be on point, y'all. Because y'all be giving it to us. So we're gonna give it to the people today. We're not gonna hold back. Minister Nichelle Johnson, Color Beauty, you in there? It's all on you.
Everybody, how y'all doing?
Crowd goes wild.
Anyway, y'all, how y'all doing out there? I'm so happy to be with you, but we're going to get right into it. I don't waste time. This is a serious topic. We have so many people that are dating, and at a certain age, dating becomes a little bit more. It has to be intentional, but you have to know exactly where you are and what you're looking for, and you have to be okay discerning whether or not you're getting it in the person immediately. But don't waste too much time, because on this side of the coin, you don't have that much time. It's not going backwards; it's going forward, and so it behooves you to be able to discern the things that could be possibly red signs right away. So with that being said, we're going to get into the topic of, mommy, son issues. We'll get into my, daughter, daddy issues later. That's kind of like always the topic. But today it's about mommy and son. And so one of my questions are, what are the unspoken signs, and do you know them, of someone who has mommy issues, a man who has, mommy issues? This is for women who date men, or
Yeah. I don't mind going first.
Go first.
Okay. I guess the main sign to me is someone that is still attached to their mom, who haven't done that. They haven't cleaved away from their mom. And what most moms, I think, don't understand about young men, even their young boys. For example, there's a girl that we know, I won't call any names. Her grandson is probably 5 years old, 6 years old, but they give him everything. He got 2 phones and everything. But what they don't understand is they're creating a monster. A man will take, and a boy, a man, whatever. A boy will take as much as he can from a woman.
Yes.
As a young man, he do that. As a teenager, he does that. As a grown man, he still does that. But when the giving stops, what mothers don't understand is the loving stops from a young boy. You follow what I'm saying? Or a teenager. When he can't get what he wants, he's not that same kid that you raised. So I will tell mothers at any time, any day, you need to ensure that even with my grandson right now, if he wants something, it's some paper in the backyard that need to be picked up. It's a lawnmower that needs to be pushed. You know, it's not the world is not free, and neither am I, nor what I want to give to you. So we have to realize that the more we give, the bigger the monster is going to be.
That's great coming from a man, and that's important. One thing I will add, I think that a mother and son's relationship, I think it gets twisted with a man. Your mother does everything for you. Depending on every mother-son relationship is different. But if you have the type where the mother does everything for the son, and then he gets into the relationship with a woman, I think where the verbal abuse, physical abuse comes into play, I can't be your mommy and your lover too. You know, so you want me to do this and this and this for you, and then when I don't do certain things for you, I think that it triggers the past, and that's what I think some of the physical abuse comes into play. So I think it's important to have a balance. And Nichelle, like you said, that at this point in your life, whatever that may look like to you, but definitely 45, 50-ish, we need to be on purpose and intentional with relationships. And I think that starts with us having conversations in the beginning. I don't think we need to be in our head trying to figure it out. We need to be opening our mouths and asking questions and listening, intentional, and listen for what you don't hear.
Queen, I want to jump in here because I was listening to the Wayans brothers a couple of weeks ago, and it was an interview that he did. And he said, my mom has passed away, but I would not marry until my mom had passed away. He said, because when you get married, it's time for you to leave your mom, cleave to your wife. And he said he didn't want his wife and his mother to compete against each other. And I thought that was so fascinating because I can recall when I first got married, and I'm balanced in the act because I love my mother, but I know what the Bible says about my wife. So I would say you can't even start dating someone until you know what that person, I would say what their purpose was, because we often say there's 2 important dates, the day that you were born and then the day that you get married or the day that you have a baby. But I was listening to someone last week and they said, no, it's not. The 2 most important dates are when you were born and the day that you discover why you were born. So you can't even start dating until you know why you're here. That's my take on that.
That's something else. Oh my gosh.
People make a mistake with that because they don't even know why they're here. So how can I have a relationship with my mom? How can I have a relationship with this person over here when I don't even know why I'm supposed to be here?
Well, damn, y'all got me stumped. Because it is like already early. That's like, wow.
You said bring the fire, we bring the fire.
This is really good. This is really good. Really good. What about you, Eboni?
Well, my thing is I focus more on like what Aisha was saying with the children and the mom and the children, because like I have twin boys.
Oh.
And I was a pretty young mom. I mean, 2021, still young to me. And I made some mistakes to the point to where it was brought to my attention when they were older. And they didn't hold anything back. And all I could do was not retaliate. It was better for me to hold myself accountable and apologize for things that I did in the past that bothered them. And with me doing that one of them was like, that's all I needed to hear. He was like, that was it. And you know, we're good now. You know, they call and ask some questions here and there, but I know it's a process. So I'd rather be here and hold myself accountable for that and apologize and help them become responsible and not angry Black men on this earth, right here in America, because that's what everyone's waiting for. So I'd rather for them to be at peace with their mom and forgive me and accept my apology. But like, just that hold myself accountable alone was everything for me to just say that. They like that.
That's good. I'm gonna say that was everybody. I'm enlightened. But I wanna say something about what Mike said and what Larry said. Everybody actually, it was awesome. So it's twofold for me. And I said this to a family member. I said, if you don't monitor how you parent this young man, you're gonna be dating the man you raised. Because
yes, indeed.
You become older and you get divorced or you find yourself on dating again. You can't complain about what's out there because you have to self-reflect about what did you raise. Because we understand that what you sow is what you reap, right? So you can't want this other version of a man different than what you raised. That absolutely, that is absurd. To me, it's insanity, because it's like I'm planting a mango in the seed. I'm planting a mango seed in the ground, but I want apples. No, it doesn't work like that. If you plant thorns, that's what you're going to get. So, and I like what Mike said, is that was, can I just say, that was so profound, because if you're raising a son that you're always giving him everything, the minute that and this is what we see this is a huge issue now with men who have mother issues, because and it's good or bad, because we're going to talk about the toxic side of it, the other toxic side of it, right? So that part of it is, okay, so now if you're not giving to me, you're no good to me. So, I mean, that's a problem. And so what Eboni was saying was, okay, now I'm accountable to it. But here's my next question, because I like to go deeper. But how is that playing out in your actions? Because it can't be, I'm on the side of the road. Sweetie, you got to figure that out. Like, figure it out. And see, I don't have children. So for me, my perspective is going to be different. I like it because I can be objective. I can look at it and say, no, that's not cool. Because do you want to date that person? I asked one of my family members, do you want to date the person that you're raising? Because I don't like the way that looks. And I'm not going to let you call me and wear my ear out about that. I'm going to bring back in your face what you're raising. Because stop keeping your house open to somebody that's 36 years old. Get a ring. Figure it out. You can get a ring for $50 a week. You can't pay $50 a week for a ring. So I mean, I think what Mike said to me was like that was like real foundational. And then where Larry went, that's why it's so good to have men, because men can give it to you from a different perspective. Because women just see he tripping, not me. Right. But what you're saying is that it's a whole lot of other things that have to come to play. And you're right. But to you, Mike, I mean, to you, Larry, like, you have to know, but how you get to know who you are is that at some point, mama, you gotta stop breastfeeding. So they can, because what I think what we do now as parents is that we cheat them out of the thing that makes them become who they are. So we give them everything that we didn't have. That's not good. No. Because that's not good.
Okay, I got to share this though real quick. My mom had 10 children. She raised those 10 children single. I'm so glad she didn't stop at 9, because I was number 10.
Wow.
When I was growing up, I didn't feel like my mom loved me. But later on in life, she said, I knew you were the one that didn't need me. The other ones needed me. And I did need that motherly love. You know, I longed for that, because she was a single mom raising 10 children. And I was the youngest of 10, but I wanted her to know that I did need that love. And I was able to share that with her before she passed on. But she said it was something about you that you didn't need me and the other ones did.
Mothers know.
Let me just interject and say something to the question. We teach this gentleman etiquette class in my organization, and we mentor young men. And in this scenario, we give them a scenario where their mother is in the room with their wife. Your mother and your wife is in the room, and you enter the room. 9 out of 10 young men and older men get this wrong, because it's a very, very point that is made. It's a very important point that's made. When you walk into the room and your mom, your wife and your mother's in the room, who do you hug first if you're just walking into the house?
Group hug.
Most men that are,
Your mother.
The mama's boy are going to go to their mother. But most real men who has been raised correctly will go to their wife, which is the correct answer. It's supposed to be your wife, then your mother, not your mother, then your wife. Most people will argue with you and say that's wrong. But when you look at even biblically, you leave one and go to the other. That is your responsibility. Your mom is not. And it's very, in this generation of young men that we have, a lot of young men don't know that. But again, I will go back to this fact. Women teach men how to treat them. Good, bad, or indifferent. Women teach men how to treat them. I told my daughter early on, I don't give a hell if it's 110 degrees. If he don't open that door for you, you sit right there and sweat. But when he do open that door and he know that he done messed up, it will only happen once. It will only happen one time. And you have to teach your young women how to handle or treat or respect their man without being disrespected.
Yes. And let me say this, and that's a very good thing, a very good point. Women teach men how to treat them. That also goes back to the mother, because who she has around her, the conversation she has around all of the children, all of that stuff matters, because that's going to show what she accepts, what she allows from a man, and how he thinks he should handle a woman. Because I've met guys and I'd be like, I don't know who raised him. I'd be like, who his mama, his sisters, his auntie, all of that. And earlier, going back to the point with the woman, the mother, mothers, we nurture, we nurse, we coddle, but it has to be a time, because I think that you can support all of your children, but still let them figure it out. You understand what I'm saying? You could sit back, and say, okay, let them figure it out. When I feel as though I need to jump in. I don't have children either, but I think I get, we don't have children, but some stuff just common sense. Some stuff is just, if you've been around women enough, if you've been around mother-son relationship, it's common sense. My sister took my nephew, who's 18, to get his passport earlier this year, and she sent him in by himself to do everything. But then she had to come in for something. And when she got in, the representative said, I'm so happy that you're letting him do this on his own. And she said, yeah, because then I'll end up dating him. You understand? Because y'all know we done all met some men. And we say common sense ain't common, but I feel at a certain age and point in your life, for me to meet me where I am, or you gonna miss me, it's just certain things you have to have, batteries included. Because there's certain things I'm just not teaching. I'm not teaching things that I feel as though you should have learned at home, or whomever you dated before me, you should have gotten. And this is from my former marriage, this is one thing I said, and I always say, I'm so grateful for my former husband, his mother, and all the women before me that he dated. Because when we got together, it was just certain things. I don't know where he got them from. You understand? But it's just certain things. I was like, I'm not tolerating it. Who do that? Where we do that at? Yeah, so.
So I would say that it's a very dysfunctional dynamic for this reason. Women, and I come from as my mother's my brother and I. But what I've watched the reigning theme, as I've watched it across different cultures, it is the same thing. Women raise their daughters and they love their sons.
Yes.
And so because of that, then it is a cycle that has not, until you decide to break the cycle, and every family has that responsibility to break it in their family. Then it's gonna perpetuate. And it just keeps, before you know it, you have this effect that you don't even know where to start, because now the layers are so far below, you got to peel back. And so I want to go to the next part of that question, because when you're dating, specifically for women, when you're dating, and I'm going to say for women, because, hey, listeners, I love you, but my perspective, I'm a heterosexual, and I'm going to speak from that perspective. You apply it to how you need to apply it. I'm unapologetic from my perspective, okay? So having said that, I want to say, so how do you identify the toxic signs that are unspoken? I mean, the toxic. So I'm talking about now men who didn't have, because Larry made a good point, who did not have the relationship with their mother and didn't feel love. And how does that play out? And how do you identify the toxicity and how that will affect the relationship? That was a lot right there. So let me say it again. So the toxicity part of it, the man who has not really gotten a lot, like I know someone, I've dated someone who was pretty much, their mother was pretty much on her own train. You know, she got all of her degrees, but she was everything to the community, but her children raised themselves. Right. And there was, and she had favorites within the family. That's a big deal. That's a thing. Okay. So she had favorites. So this person and there was times where they would go a whole year and he wouldn't talk to her for maybe once or twice a year. I'm like, in the same city. So clearly there's some dysfunction there. How are you able, because that plays out in relationships when you're dating. And do you know what the signs of that are, and how do you approach that?
I'm gonna say this, and I watch, whether it's a friend, a family member, I'll be like, I will never date that person. You understand what I'm saying? I watch how, let me tell you something. Any man that has an issue with his mother, whatever that issue is, if he has not come to peace with it, whatever he needs to make peace, however he needs to for real make peace, and not in his head romanticizing about it, he gonna be a problem in a relationship with you. Period. Absolutely. So that's why it's important to have these conversations. I'd be at, how's your mom doing? Just ask, hey, how's your mom? How's your dad? And watch how they respond. They may pause, all of those things. What's your relationship with your kid's mother? Like, I need you and your kid's mama. I need y'all to be respectful. All of that stuff, all of those things are important. A friend of mine, she actually was engaged to someone. She said she broke up with him. She told him and his mother that they was in they were having spiritual incest. What? She said, I said, I ain't never heard that one. I said, wait till I tell Nichelle this one. It was about a couple of months ago. She was like, it was spiritual incest. She said, because they were he was such a mama's boy. She was like, ain't no way, I'm not doing this. And the mother couldn't see it. She couldn't see it. And you know, when the mother's all up in everybody's business, in the business, it's too much. It's too much. Yeah. It's too much.
I will say this, and I don't mean to take this. I'm gonna take this to the 10th degree. And I'm gonna say this, and I may get some flack from it, but hopefully everybody will agree. The way you love your mom is the way you're gonna love your wife, girlfriend, partner, whatever. The respect you show your mom is gonna be the exact same respect and I'm talking from a man's perspective. It's the exact same way you're gonna love the person you're gonna be involved with. Point that I want to make in this is we have to understand the personal relationship that you had, just like a little girl first love is her father, a young man's first love is his mother. If he don't show love to his mother and you don't physically see it or hear it on the telephone or experience it in your presence, you will not get the same due to you if his mom is not giving it. Now,
may I ask you a question with that? Is it possible, because some people become what they are not, what they didn't get?
Yes, that's possible.
So how does that play out? Because it is possible. I'll take something basic. I've been in leadership all my working life, but I've worked under some pretty toxic leadership. I have become the leader that I did not. I've become the opposite of the leader that I had because I desired good leadership. So to get it, I had to become it. Is it possible that a man can apply that same concept.
That's why I said they have to come to peace. That's why he has to come to peace.
And let me give you the perfect example. Growing up, and you got to realize I'm from the country. Growing up, we didn't hear the words "I love you." Not often.
Yeah.
It was shown, it was given, it was nurtured. We knew it, but we didn't hear it. Now, fast forward, when I went to the military, and I came back home and I missed everyone. And the first thing that I said to everyone that I knew was dear to me is "I love you." Some people, it caught them by surprise. They didn't know what to say back. But eventually it started to catch on that, I love you too. I love you too. I love you. I love you. And the words "I love you" was threaded down into my family, because it was not like that before I left. It was not even said as much, and I hate to say this, it was not said as much as you would hear it today in my family. But now it's threaded all through our family. Love you. It could be my cousin, my first cousin. We could be pissed off at each other. Look, I love you. And I want you to understand that those are three words that I truly mean, man or woman. But if a man has not experienced that love, it's something that he has to learn from other men. Young men learn from other men, not women, other men. And that's very important, because most people don't understand that. Wow. If you learn a bad trait or a bad thing from an older man, you go, okay with that. He doing it, because that's how we learn.
Even with the dating, all of that, they pick that up for men, and depending on how they learned it, how they heard it, and that personality is going to determine how they move with it, how they proceed with it, if it fits their personality. So all of those things are really, really important.
What do you say, Mike? What do you say, Larry?
Yeah, I want to go a step deeper with this, because are we just dating, or are we just dating with a purpose? There's two different things, because if I'm just dating you, then I may not be ready to introduce you to my mother. But if you're going past 6 and you're going on a year and you still haven't introduced that person to your mother, hey, we may have some issues that are because I don't want to take you around my mom, because you're going to see all of my flaws. And you're going to see that we don't get along. So I think it's two things that we're looking at here. I'm just dating right now, or am I dating with a purpose? Or have you dated someone past 6 months? Because if it's past 6 months and we're kind of serious about this thing, and if your parents are still living, it's time for you to meet the parents. But if I always skate around that and say, well, no, she's busy. No, it's not a good time. There's some issues there that I don't want you to see, because if I take you around, it's going to be revealed.
Yeah. So let me ask you,
even a phone call, getting on a phone call with the parents, all of that.
Okay, so you said something, Queen, and I want to explore that. So you said you would not date a man. So here's my thing, because I like what Mike said. Mike said it's going to take another man to help a man with that. But at some point there has to be a practice in that, right? So Queen said that she would never date a man that had mommy issues. I would not say that, because here's how I feel. This is just me. This is not arrogant, but I believe for every person, if you're worth your salt, how you know that is by the effect and change you make to your surroundings. You're either going to be the thermostat or the thermometer, and you have to decide. And whatever you decide, if you you got to make it do what it do around you. And we do teach people how to love us, period. But for women, because a lot of what's happening now, we have a lot of these things on our list that we're just like, well, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Well, like, you're not really a walk in the park either. So like,
we had that conversation, you and I talking about that.
Right. So we had to decide. So Eboni, how do you feel about that?
What, feel about the women?
So would you date someone who had okay, let me at least use myself.
So let me go, Nichelle, because what I was saying was, it's not that I wouldn't date him, because here's the thing, we all have issues with our parents, right?
Right.
So it's different levels
to
the issues. Here's the thing, you might have a parent that's still living, and you have to come to peace and figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
Now, if you come to peace with it, that's not necessarily you have to have a conversation or announce it. It's just that the way you move, because you have people that they don't get along, and it might be all parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, what's this in the Bible? And y'all know it better, like honor your parent. But also they don't say the part about don't provoke the child.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So you don't hear that part, right?
I quote it regularly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Minister. So so these are the things. So it's a way that you can move and have respect if they're not being disrespectful. When you got somebody that's disrespectful, when they speak with venom about their parent, I don't care what. That's a different thing. Now we're gonna have disagreements with our parents. It's not what you say; it's how you say it. You know. So I told a family member, I was like, "Oh, I would never date you," and he was so shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way you speak about this person that you have a child with.
Not lovely.
Right. And then as your relative, if I was dating someone married and they spoke about me in that way, how would you feel? See, this is what we got to understand. Meet people where they are. Put yourself in that person's position. Wear them shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes. At some time, you have to realize if a man disrespects his mom, and visually you see this or you hear it on the phone, disrespectful, break the plate and move on. It's just that simple. Break the plate, move on. Pick your stuff up and go, because he's not going to be any better to you.
Yeah,
he will not. Do you think they can change? No, we don't learn.
You're gonna have a flashback of something from childhood and start going. This is what I'm saying. It's like your mother make your place, you wash your clothes, all. And as a child, those things that should be done, but you should. I feel you should also be taught how to do these things. You understand? Like my great nephew is 2. I remember his mother was trying to break him from nursing early, because she noticed that he was pacifying. He wasn't feeding, he was pacifying. And she starts saying, no, we're not going to. It's a time that they pacify as a baby. You let them do that. But at certain times, you're like, come on, wait a minute. You understand what I'm saying? Because then you can be creating some other habits. So you have to break those things, So yeah, I think everybody has issues. It's how they speak about their mother, how they speak about their kid's mother. All of those things, you got to pay attention. You have to pay attention.
What do you say? What do you have to say about that, Eboni?
Would I date someone that had issues with their mother? Was that your question?
Well, yeah, I think how you approach it, because would you just throw someone away because would you just say, okay, that's it, that's my game? Is that your game changer? Like, is that one of your game changers?
Well, I mean, I noticed things pretty early, so I think it was either Michael or Larry. When I think Larry, he said, is in the first 6 months. You should know all of that. I mean, because I really pay attention to conversation. I let him talk, because you'll learn about someone in the first or second date. Just let them talk. They tell everything about themselves. So it's a no for me. The only big reason being because I have sons, and I just, as soon as you go off with your mother, I'm like, that's how you talking to your mother. That's for sure. You gonna talk to me like that? I'm not gonna have it.
Yeah.
So it's a no for me. And I'm with Aisha on that too. You have to find peace, because not everybody's going to get I apologize. Not everyone is going to get, hey, or probably before God forbid, but when your parent is on their deathbed, a lot of people don't get that. So you got to come to terms and find, like Aisha said, find peace with it, so you can move forward and stop blocking your blessings. Because you walk around mad the whole time, you blocking a whole bunch of love, you blocking a whole bunch of you blocking a lot. So you're going to have to come to grips somewhere.
So I'm gonna read a couple of things. So it says, here are the signs: always needing to stay in contact with their mother, never wanting anything to do with their mother, generally being disrespectful towards women, feeling insecure and often suspicious, always doubting others' love, having a sense of entitlement. Those are just some of the issues that that should become aware. And you may not, some of those things may not present themselves right away. It just depends on the dynamic of your dating, how you're dating, right? So I'll tell you, for me, I dated someone who had mama issues. And they also had a pretty strong male figure in their life. Wasn't their dad, it was just a male figure who was a very solid man who had a very solid marriage, and he was solid in his fatherhood, which was great for this guy. However, there were triggers that did present themselves. And I said, so the first 2 times I was like, okay. The first time I was like, let me tell you how this is gonna go down. I'm not that person. And I think, and I understand this may be what you are feeling because of XYZ, but I'm not that person. So you don't really have a whole lot of rope with that. Second time it happened, I said, I got quiet and I said, okay, I just began to pray because first of all, for me, I understand the dynamics of my life and what I came through. And it just, I wasn't always the walk in the park. So my threshold may have been in the past, not now, my boundaries is just different. But in the past, my threshold was probably a little bit more giving than now because I understood my own journey.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So when you understand your own journey, you can't be a hypocrite to that.
Yeah.
You have to say, wait a minute. Everybody gets a chance to try out if they have become what they're trying to become. And you may have to say, well, you know what? It may be that you're the person they say, well, you know what? You're not there yet. And I had to say to this person, you know what? I just think it's not the right time. And I said that to them. I said, you are, and they were great. I mean, they were very attentive. They were very extremely affectionate. I mean, just a lot of things. But it was that thing that kept like triggering. It was like that, not like, you know, you like it's like if you don't know you have a bruise until you hit it, and you're like, oh, I didn't know I was bruised right there. Yeah, you bruised. So when I realized I don't really have a lot of, that's not the space I'm in my life. I can't give up time for this right now because
your threshold is
I gotta we're on a plane. I gotta save myself right now. Right.
And like you said, I can't give time to it because your time, your energy, you can't get that back. And if you know it ain't going nowhere.
Right. And it wasn't that it was just this thing that I couldn't so I'll get a little transparent. So in my growing up, I know what a belligerent conversation looks like, right? It doesn't make me afraid, right? Because I grew up kind of, my dad was kind of, he was tough. My mother was angelic. My father was kind of tough. He was very tough, actually. He was, you know, the guy on the street. So I'm like, I'm working with the best of these two worlds. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not, you know, you don't scare me. But what I had to learn over time was, but you should be alarmed. Because remember that, see, that was my upbringing. So I'm saying that because we all have to know our own stuff to understand why this doesn't work.
That's powerful right there.
Yeah, and what I had to say was, this doesn't work because I have drawn boundaries with that behavior from my childhood.
And also it was your dad, so it was different. But you're like, this is an adult.
Exactly.
This is not my father, so I should be alarmed. Not scared, but like, okay, wait a minute. This is your regular.
Exactly.
This is what you do. This is a part
and because I'm not all the way my mom, I don't want to call nobody at midnight and say, I got a problem. What you do? Oh, I tell you about it when you get down here. Right? You know, so, but I had to say, you know, I said, you know, I just think that, and this is how I said it. I said, I'm so sorry that this is where you are. I am, and I can't make this better for you. But it's not the time. And I said, because it is important how you exit situations like that, because you want to make sure when you exit as women, that we exit on a high note to make them go high. Because it doesn't matter if you're with me or not. It matters that as my brother in this life, and we all sisters and brothers in this life, that you're better. And if I had something to do with that, I'm cool with that. I'm not tripping about that. You know, a lot of women are like, no, I'm not gonna do that for the next woman. Why not? You don't know. The next woman could be somebody that really needed that situation more than you did. It can't always be about you.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Every time you're disagreeing with someone, it doesn't have to be combative.
Right.
It's like, this is not the time. This doesn't work for me. Now, even if they're combative, take the high road, and as Minister Nichelle says, you make a sweet transition.
I need a sweet transition, God. I don't
need
no rough. I need that thing. I need that terrain clear.
Yeah, no, and that's very important. I think that's very important.
Can I add a different perspective?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I'll be very transparent here. So I didn't see it, but I heard that my dad was an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
That's why she raised those single kids by herself, because she left.
Right.
But a trigger for me in dating is if I see you drinking excessively,
Yeah.
that's a trigger for me, even though
Yeah.
I didn't see it.
Right.
But I heard about it because I was the youngest.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, is this person gonna get drunk and get violent with me? Because that's
Yeah.
what my dad did.
Oh wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
he got drunk and he got violent, and that's why she left. So I look at this thing and say, okay, I never wanted Madison, my daughter, to see me when I was married drunk, or in a point where I'm cussing her mom out or putting hands on her. So that's a trigger for me. And even in dating, and I see this person incessantly drinking, and that's because of my childhood.
Right. And that's all we all are going through. We're just adults living out these childhood situations that we're trying to overcome. That's all.
That's it. That's it.
But you know a beautiful thing about parenting or childhood or young adults. I have 3 children. I have 2 boys and a girl, and I'm so proud. And I probably was a butthole. Don't get me wrong. If I wasn't on the comedy stage, I was on day behind. But anyway,
Mike, what did you tell him? He had how many years to finish school? I'm sorry.
Look, I told my son, I say, you got 4 years. After that, the money run out. It's gone. You know, and he didn't adhere to that.
He wasn't a believer.
Look, so he's still stuck. But anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that year. So, but I will say this about my children, and they are killing it. And I know it was because of the way they were raised. I know that they are very successful professionals. When your child don't ask you for nothing, they doing good. You hear what I'm saying? As a parent, when your child, as an adult, is not living with you and don't ask you for nothing, and they call you every once in a while just to check on you, you doing good. I will say that, and I'm experiencing that. And again, whether it was bad credit or not, I know my daughter, she has great credit. My sons, they own them. They own them. They own that. But they good. They good. You see what I'm saying? They in the 6, 7, but they ain't, they good. They good.
Mike, you be checking on their credit scores. You be
Oh
calling
yeah,
around.
I need to know what I'm co-signing
That's what I'm
for.
saying. You know,
I need
you
to
credit
know
score,
what I'm co-signing
Mike.
for. What I'm co-signing
That's
for.
hilarious.
What we finna get. But
He said, "What we finna get."
Yeah, what we finna get. Not.
But you know what,
get.
Mike? Pedigree is important. So the flip side of that is
Say that again.
pedigree is real, because
that's why they used to ask your last name. They want to know who you connected
pedigree.
to. What's your people?
And this is where that plays in with me, because when you go through your own evolution, you come to the core of what's my pedigree. And if you just look at the line, you say, "Oh, that was never for me." That's not my real pedigree, and that's why there was no synergy there.
Yeah, no real connection.
That's the real thing. Like, doesn't matter what you went through as a child. Like, to know some people just accept their environment. They accept what their environment did to them, and then there are other people who had, you can have all the thrills in the world and still have a situation at home, right? You know that. But there are things that let you know, but that's not really your pedigree. That's just the circumstances. And so I think as adults, when you know what your pedigree is, you spend a little less time with stuff. You're like, like what Mike said, the drinking, like the drink, you're like, for me, my drinking was in my, I'm sorry, Larry, drinking was in my grandfather, then my uncle. And I was like, and I just found out like recently, like you can drink white liquor and nobody smell it. I was like, well, that was alcohol.
Yes. I found that out too.
I know a guy like that. That's called a functioning alcohol. They go to work all day and sip on that and drink all day, and
it has no odors. What is it? Scotch, vodka.
It's vodka.
Scotch.
I do have. I know. Never mind. I ain't gonna step on my toes. I wanted to ask a question so bad, but anyway.
Ask the question.
I'm gonna ask a question, and this is to Nichelle. Is a woman with bad credit worse than a man with bad credit?
So
Wait, let me cross my leg and give me something to drink. Hold on, go ahead.
So let me say this now. You guys know I've managed in banking for 37 years. I done seen all kind of credit situations. I have seen people with money with bad credit, and I'm very serious. It does not matter. It behooves me how people can have all this money and they don't pay their bills, or they just It's honestly. So I would say I can't say either one. I think I'll tell you this: when I got married, my ex-husband was at the time he had filed Chapter 13 or something like that. Well, I had experience going through a debt situation, and I came out of it, and I worked that thing, and I said, "This is what I said." I said, "If you do what I tell you to do, you're going to be out in 6 months." He was out in 3. That's my hand to God. So I can't rate it that way. It depends, because again, it can't be, oh, that's a game changer. No, it's not. Because come on, you came out the womb with your credit at 800. No, you didn't. Because if you went through your 20s, you ain't come up with 800 nothing. Right? So
especially
like
if your parents put something in their name.
Somebody has I know a gentleman who broke up with his woman because she had bad credit, and I was like, but do you know how to handle money, and are you willing to? Because is that the only thing? Like, you can't. So because at what point, when are we going to learn from each other? Like,
this is what I had this conversation a few weeks ago with a friend. I'm like, okay, you can't judge a person on just that. What else are they bringing to the table?
Right.
Yep. And how about we can't, if you think, like you said, you're a walk in the park. If you think that you're not here, if a person's supposed to come with everything together at whatever age, right? That's not true. How are you adding to one another? If he comes 100% and you come 100%, then you all have no journey together.
Right.
We're here for one another. We're supposed to teach one another. Mm-hmm. So no, here's the thing. It's so funny because Dr. Paz does a segment on our on the show. And she talks about, she was like, credit ain't everything. No. You know what I'm saying? She said, because it can be low today, high tomorrow. You got to know how to work it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we have to be very careful with it, because life happens. Life gonna life.
Oh, life is life. And let me tell you something.
Do you know how to get out of that situation?
That's exactly right.
And you might end up there again. Do you know how to get out of that situation? So we can't hold people to just their credit.
And listen, you can have 800 score, go buy a piece of jewelry, and then you done drop 20 points just because you used the credit. Right. So you can't rate it like that. And that's a good point. That's good, because this is what I'm saying. We're making everything out these one things. Like, you can't make the slice the whole. Mm-hmm. It's a slice of the pie. You can't make it the whole. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And honestly, when people have so sometimes credit it's an emotional situation that's showing up. Mm-hmm. All of our emotional dysfunctions are manifested differently. Mm-hmm. Some others, and it happens. Now, I have never been in a season in my life where I've seen men spend more money on clothes than women. I mean, fragrances. I mean, the guys been on the high note, middle note. I be like, it's we had the pandemic. We the pandemic. Oh, okay. But as it relates to that, because you might have a man, back to our point, that has a credit issue. That's his way. Sometimes he needs that. He's just working it out. Because when you're doing your own work, doing your own work is messy. It's dirty. It's ugly. I have to say that. Yes. Because if you're trying to meet somebody and you want them to be tulips in the forest, go somewhere, sit down, take several seats on that, because I'm telling you, you ain't met you ain't dating you, and if you was dating you, you would be broke up already.
And also another thing, is funny you said that, because the other thing is when you're doing your work, and like you said, I came through this, I came through that, you're picky. Mm-hmm. You're very finicky with who you're going to give your time, what you're going to give your time and energy. Yeah. They call it bougie, stuck up, whatever. Because some things you look at the bigger picture, like, this is a great person. Yeah. Okay, this person is great. I know we can work together. This person got this issue going on. But that's where, again, we have an intentional conversations, and we're listening intentionally to see if this is going to work out.
What you say, Eboni?
So, well, actually, I have a question for the men, for the gentlemen. So, my question is, so like we had answered, like if we find a guy who does have mommy issues or doesn't have a good relationship with their mother, do we deal or do we leave? What do you guys say? Because if you meet a person but they're willing to become healed and might need some certain push or might need some certain what should I stay? Should I help if I have that type of energy in me to do that, or like what do you guys think?
Well, go ahead. If you want to go first, I'll man.
I'll say when the facts are clear, the decision is easy. So what I'll say to that, when I say what the facts are clear,
Say that again.
What are the facts that led to this relationship that's toxic with my mother? I have a friend who's married now and treats his wife beautiful, but he does not have a good relationship with his mother, and it's because she was an alcoholic. She was on drugs. So he would give her money, try to take care of her, and all she did was more alcohol and did drugs. So he does not have a good relationship with his mother, but he treats his wife like a queen.
Like queen, right.
And that's the piece. And that's what I'm saying. That's the piece.
That's why I say when the facts are clear, the decision will always be easy.
So he came to terms with it, and he was able to move and grow and prosper from that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got a different spin on that. I think, and this is just me, okay, because I know I'm not a perfect person. Yeah. I know I have had my issues, and I have will have issues.
Steal them bags and weirds in South Korea.
Okay, right. We ain't carrying no more boots through the airport. But anyway, the point that I would like to make and see this as myself, I've been there. Most women marry or get with a person because of what their potential you think they have. Most women do that. And the reason I say that is you look at a man and say he could probably do better if he did this, or he could probably have this if he was to change this. Again, for a man, change is very, very hard if you haven't bought into it. A man does not change just because you say you need to do something. He's got to see the benefit for him. I'm just telling you, we're selfish.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
He's got to see the benefit for him. Now, if he don't see the benefit for him, he's not going to change. I don't give a hell if you give him 30,000 million days. He's not going to change.
That's true.
He don't see the benefit. The bad part about that is if you got a good woman, and this is the truth about men. When a man know he has a good woman within a month and a half.
Yeah.
45 days.
Yeah.
He know he's got a good woman.
Yeah.
If you, again, go back to women teach men how to treat them. If you tell him you don't, most women want to get married after 2 years of dating. We need to be talking about a ring or something. You ain't going to just be shacking. But if you don't teach that man what you want to get from him, he's going to continue to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's not a mentality. It's just the way we are.
Yeah. I always say that when I speak, people are going to do only what you allow them to do.
So to answer your question, if you've given him an opportunity, you got to give him the opportunity and show him how it's beneficial to him.
Okay.
Not you, him.
We're sending for him.
And that may sound selfish, but it's true.
No, I think it sounds perfect, and I think that
I think that's what a lot of people.
I think that women need to be okay being not being the status quo. You have like there's certain things I just don't listen. My ex-husband didn't know my last name for about 9 months. Shut up, Mike. We didn't know where I lived the same.
What y'all call each other? Boo boo coochie or something? What y'all?
My last name for 9 months.
No, and Michelle, I remember you told me like one person you dated, you was like, we sat in the car. He was
in the car. You know,
he said he come to my house.
You make me feel like a teenager. I said, great, keep that same energy. Keep that. But you know why? Because on this side, we already know what that do. Come on now. We know it all that do. So don't act like there's some new story in the book, no, some new chapter in the book. We don't need that. Because now I need to figure out what's going on. Yeah. Because now we've had so much life behind us that stuff we already know what to do. That's gonna change. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I want to say
find out what life has done in us and to us.
I want to say one thing before we go. Yeah. And this is just the dating scene now, and it's gonna get worse. When you're dating someone, you got to remember you are dating the person and you're dating social media. If you can't handle those two together, if you find someone that is not on social media and not, fine. That's good, dude. That's good. But you have to remember, you're dating social media and you're dating him. I ain't saying married to. I'm talking about dating.
Yeah.
But let me say
Because
something.
you got to remember, most of the stuff that was out there when we was back in the day courting and dating are not like it was, like it is now.
I'm
You
gonna
have
say
so
this.
many more challenges, so many more.
I'm gonna say this. And this was recently a friend. We were out and somebody that I knew, and you know, you see some stuff, but you kind of get the conversation later on when you talk. And she was like, "Yeah, he asked me about my social media and why I don't have a lot of pictures up." And now, like, just taking on this whole social media thing, it's kind of like he's not serious. You know what I'm saying? Because I think someone that's trying to really rock with you, you can't start off like, "Oh, this is gonna be my wife, this is gonna be my husband." But I think if someone, like Larry says, is dating with a purpose, is an intentional about, like, I'm trying to get to know this person one at a time, you're not asking me for my social media. I just don't feel like you asked me for my social media. You need to ask me for my phone number, see if I'm gonna give you my last name, and you can ask me for my email address, period.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
And
Ain't nothing
Tony-
wrong with being on social media, but I think that just blurs a lot. You're not gonna get to know me from social media.
You never gonna get to know me from social media because I'm gonna give you 2 minutes on Tuesdays and that's it.
And here's the thing: I'm gonna be all over the place. You're gonna be like, "I ain't seen her in a couple of days."
But social
You better
media. I
call
mean,
his phone.
Antonio Da Silva asked an amazing question. I don't know if y'all want to touch
Yep.
on that.
I saw that. What did he say?
I was like, whoa.
What point do you at what point or to what extent do you look at yourself if you continue to get
What you don't want.
want?
Because you can only attract what you want.
At every point.
That's right. That's
At
right.
every point. Because every situation is a learning. If you walk away from anything and say, if you didn't learn something about yourself, you didn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna keep on with that. You're gonna be rolling around that rolling rink for you a long time.
You gotta become aware. You gotta become aware.
You gotta look at yourself.
Yeah.
And look at the early signs early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you something that I just told somebody today.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things that happened. Some people, and I know we're almost out of time. I'm just gonna say this. So I said, one of the things that came up in just me doing my own work and just praying and just talking to God. He said, "Don't be upset with them for what they did. It was your fault." And the reason why it was my fault was because I made myself, because I'm a relationship person. I love people.
Mm-hmm.
I have to manage myself because as sweet as I am, right? It can flip.
Another side.
And I do it really sweetly, but I don't like to get to that place because at that point, then I've let too much time go. And so now it's, but it was my fault because the boundaries are important.
Mm-hmm.
And when you keep accepting, see, here's the thing about when you keep accepting, I say, okay, this is a boundary. And then you say, "Oh, I'm sorry." But you knew what you were doing. And I said, "Oh, that's okay." And I gave you access again. Now I've made myself common to you.
Say that again, Nichelle. Say that again.
I've made myself common because
from the beginning,
what you did was you became too familiar with my kindness, and you made me common as to be who you are because I kept giving you access. So you thought that was okay. No, I gave you access. I wasn't giving you access. I was giving you mercy and grace in hopes that you would self-correct, but you didn't. So now I have to excavate you out of my life.
No, that's for real.
No, that's for real.
And we've talked about this because people and I think that because I know all of you, that I know that in our lives that we've all experienced this in different scenarios and relationships more than once because of the kindness. People get it mixed up. They think you press for their friendship, their whatever. I'm like, no, this is just who I am. However, I can show you the other one because you don't want me to call her up. And that it ain't got to be, I will cut you off. I will ignore you, act like I don't even see you. But people don't understand that. Like, oh, you need help with this, but then you showing your ass, and now I'm like, okay, now I gotta cut you off. No, it's for real. So I know that we've all experienced that, whether it's a relationship or whatever.
I'll give you a sweet exit. I'm gonna be lovely to the end now.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I enjoyed myself with you.
And
I'm gonna keep my lady up. I'm gonna keep her up, but you better know she out.
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep her out, but she out.
Now she out.
I think that's a good subject for next time. Proper breakup.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Ebony. You got something to say, Ebony? Because Ebony said I'm going to sleep.
No, I'm just
Yeah.
No, I wanted to go back to the topic, and you said looking for signs that a man has a good relationship with his mom. So I call these my 3 C's.
Okay.
Does he show concern? Does he show courtesy? And does he show compassion?
Awesome.
If he's not showing that to his mother, he's not going to show it to you.
Nope. Oh my God.
Like
those are just my 3 C's.
Oh my God. Because you know what I know, compassion. It's a disconnect when it comes to compassion. Like if I'm sitting here crying about an issue and you can't connect, like that's a disconnect.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. A wound, that narcissists don't become narcissists overnight. That's a wound unattended.
Yeah.
And that's what happens with most men who have mommy issues. Most of them are narcissistic. They are.
Katanya put in the chat. Go ahead, Nichelle. I'm gonna tell you what Katanya put in the chat. So
go ahead.
You gotta have a car, an apartment, and a bedroom set.
I'm done.
No, because I ain't dealing with no dude on no air mattress. That's what we.
Okay, let's keep this train going straight.
right.
This is awesome, y'all. So I'm gonna give y'all my take on this. So this is a very good topic. I think that we can talk about it more. It was powerful, but we was laid back. It's the weather change that we chilled today, but we rah in our spirit. But we like, you know what, we're gonna do this today. We're gonna get it done. But it was so, and like Michelle, it is so important for us to have the voice of men. And like when I talk about our panels, I always say that I know a lot of great men. And I really think that choosing Mike and Larry, and it came about because dating after marriage with us having been married and all that, you know, that what you all offer, what you bring to it is so powerful that I'm always walking away with something great. Also something to help me self-correct myself, whether it's with myself by myself or with myself in a relationship with a guy, just certain things. Like I have like great men in my life. Larry Ernest sent me, I was thinking, so maybe I'll be juicy enough one day to be on your show. So I'm gonna have to have Ernest on. But yeah, so I think that's very, very important that we have these conversations. We've been doing this, y'all, over a year. Like,
oh, wow, it's been a year.
It's almost a year. So like, I think that
you do it every month.
But can I just say, I have to agree with Queen. I think it's nothing greater than, I think women should have a male friend in their life. And it is possible that you can have a male that is just there to be your big brother, your confidant. I just think it's so important that we have are able to, well, we just need to learn how to be trusted.
But let me tell you something. I'll send Mike a text message about something. I'll be like, and it'll just be a type like, Mike, what, whatever. And he'll respond back to me, just give it to me straight. You know what I'm saying? Make me think about some stuff. And like, oh, I ain't think about that. Or I ask the question, whether it has to do, whatever part of life is going on. And I'll ask him and he'll give it to me. And I respect what Mike says because he looks at things differently. And as a man, he's going to look at things differently. And as a woman, sometimes I might be too soft on it or whatever, or missing things. So we should get those opinions. I'm like, Mike, what you think about this and blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, but do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's still my decision in the end, but to have that input from somebody that you trust on different levels. So I think that's very important. I thank you all so much.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you.
We appreciate
So
you.
who doing so Ebony and Larry, y'all up next. We don't have to come up with a topic now. Larry, you did say we should talk about something. How the proper way to break up. Mike said that.
That's it. Most people don't know how to break up. They don't know how to do it.
Well, first of all, some people you shouldn't even been together to have a breakup.
But there's a good way to do it. Ask Nichelle, she know.
Well, it is a good way to do it. It is a good way to do it. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
She said, "Can you repeat?" I can't repeat everything I just said.
Well, you can go back and watch it. That's Mike's wife. That's Mike's wife.
It honestly, it is a good. I never break up nasty. I never do it. I never do it. I don't never like to. You know why? And each time I've had a bad breakup, I've always come back and say, I don't want this to be weird when we're not. If we see each other, that's just it just didn't work, right? Because I just believe life is long. It's long in some situations and it's short in others. Some bridges you have to blow up. You do. Some bridges you have to leave them healthy because you just never know what God will put on that bridge for you. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There have been some guys I've dated that have helped me in some other situations, like jobs or business situations, or honestly. So I just think that it doesn't have to always be this catastrophic situation. And Black people specifically have become such emotional freak. We are so freaking emotional.
Yes.
And that's why every other nation can pimp. Oh, they're gonna do this. Let me tell you one thing I learned. You never let
another show topic. Go ahead.
You can't never let your enemy locate you. And we're too.
Say that again.
We're too locatable because we're in our emotions and we always respond the way people know we're going to respond. And so that's in everything. That's on a job. That's at work.
Regulate your emotions.
That's in relationships. That's in the families. That's somebody get in the way. You cut me off on the road. Girl, bye. Go ahead. I'll get there.
Again,
But we just have to, if we just kind of just like, we have to have emotional intelligence. And when we learn emotional intelligence, I promise you, it's still going to be the same issue, but your outcome and how you look at yourself is going to be so much different. Because every time in my past, when I've done that, oh God, I wasn't talking to myself for days. I don't have them days anymore. I just don't. I'm like,
most men really appreciate a good breakup. They may not show it, but they appreciate it because, again, women teach men how to treat them. It may not be in your relationship that you just broke up from, but it will teach them for the next relationship. And that's the biggest part about this whole thing about breaking up. You learn from everything you go through. Everything you go through in life is a teachable moment. Every person you meet in life is a teachable person. When you walk into a room and you think you know everything, you learn nothing. But when you walk into a room not even worried about what they're about to talk about, you learn more than you expect.
And everybody's watching.
Yep, and then that brings us back to what Nichelle said, as far, and Mike, you said it, we're here for one another. So I ain't gonna do that for the next woman to do this. I ain't gonna do that for the next man. Somebody did something for you, corrected something, cut something off, ended something, because it's life. It's the circle of life. So how we do it, but that also goes back to healthy, when you break up in a healthy, respectful way, you allow that person and yourself to move on to another relationship, whatever that's going to look like, and be healthy and balanced. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be chaotic. And if the person want to make it chaotic, you got to bow out and just be like, okay, this person's going to be stuck for a minute. Somebody hit me up the other day. Oh, such and such is always talking about you. I'm a blah, 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 blah. And this is just what I said. I said, thank you so much. Yeah. And I said, thank you so much. I said, I have no interest in connecting. No, and I think that it blew her mind. I think I broke up with her. She didn't even respond. Because I'm such in a different place. I ain't got time. See, here's the thing.
Well, I think what it is that people don't know how long it takes you to, when you finally get to that place where you are being good to yourself, and that's really what it is. You're just being good to yourself now. Look, right? That you're like, I'm okay, I'm good.
You can see the bread molded through the plastic. You gotta open
Mike, don't laugh for her. Don't. Well, I'll tell you what my ex-husband said to me.
I said, thank you so much. I'm not interested in connecting. Like, are you like for real? No.
Yeah. Because sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes look, I'm sorry doesn't mean business as usual.
Sorry.
It just means forgiving you doesn't mean we go back to where we were. It just means that there's no longer that awkward space between us, and it's not holding me bound, and it's not holding you bound. That's it.
Queen, if somebody said that to me, I wouldn't go outside no more.
Mike, don't laugh at her.
I swear to God. And if the text just came, he always talking about you and this and that, da, da, da. I said, I'm gonna let you know.
Good night.
Ebony got her straight face on, so y'all know what
No,
that
I'm
means.
good.
She
I
has
was like,
worn
I'm
that
good.
gum out, and she
There
got
is
a
no
straight face
reason for us to connect.
Y'all are crazy.
Thank you.
Something serious is wrong with you.
Whatever, Mike.
I'm just gonna say good night.
Yeah, because Ebony's like this.
Larry or Ebony, let us know who want to do the next topic and what the topic should be about.
Okay.
The gum is like, I'm done. I'm already dead.
No, for real, because stop wasting our time. Like, stop playing with people and letting them take up your time. And it's no reason to connect. We don't even play Uno the same way.
You're crazy.
Like, come on. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
Okay.
Love you guys. Y'all be good.
Okay.
Hey,
y'all.
Michelle, Ebony, when y'all come to
Bye,
Dallas,
y'all.
Larry,
Mike,
let me know.
inbox me. So
I will. I'll be in Dallas soon.
All right.
Love you.
Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Nichelle, thank you so much for
Ebony no eyes.
them soldiers that jumped on Ebony's eye. She came right off the screen. She
Bye,
gone.
y'all.
Thank y'all so much for joining us for another dope episode of I Know Dope People with Queen Aishah and our relationship panel, mother and son relationships and topics. Now we're going to sit backstage for a quick minute and do another show before our eyes go like this for real. Peace and blessings. See us next Wednesday. We have our cancer awareness show with Evelyn C. and Miss Libby, and I'll be doing a show in Houston, Humble, Texas, next Sunday, October 29th for breast cancer awareness. Peace and power. Queen Aishah, I Know Dope People. Thank you, Latonya. Thank you, Nichelle. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Erica, and everybody for watching. Peace.